Hello, friends and neighbors. Welcome to Stars, Stripes, Anfield Nights, brought to you by the LFC Transfer Room, the American show where we talk about the footy. That is the Liverpool Football Club. I am joined by three excellent panelists, as I usually am on a Tuesday night. We've got out in California, we've got Drew. How we doing tonight, Drew?
Just a little exhausted from the weekend. I took Monday off in preparation that I'd be either celebrating or just deep under the covers in misery. Thankfully, it was celebrating. Like I said earlier, I feel like Klopp, where it's like, we have a game on Tuesday, except it's tomorrow. But even still, I just wish we had a full week to celebrate.
I feel the same way. I took vacation for Sunday, so I'm like the same boat. Then also joining us from the Great White North, the King of the North, really, we got Paul. How we doing tonight, Paul?
Oh, I'm doing very well, man. Still buzzing from Sunday. I stayed indoors today. It's been a cold one today. I think it was minus 32 at one point. But inside is nice and toasty. And I didn't go out today. So tomorrow morning to clean my driveway might be a little problem. But other than that, I'm doing very well.
Yeah, that's what the crew game was this weekend, and it snowed the morning of, and it was brutally cold. And I was actually thinking about you, Mike. It's nowhere near as cold as what Paul deals with all the time. Nowhere near that. And then last but certainly not least, from Pennsylvania, we got Mr. Colin. How we doing tonight, Colin?
I'm quite well. It was warm here today, and I saw the sun. It was 58 and sunny. I was like, wow.
Yeah, so we had
things are really turning.
Yeah, we had the perfect Ohio thing. It snowed 4 inches Saturday morning. And then Monday, it was 70 degrees.
That's great. That's really good. Yeah. Stupendous stuff. But otherwise, just trying to. Of course, I caught something over the weekend, so I wasn't feeling great for the final, but emotionally and spiritually felt phenomenal.
Oh yeah. All right. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you do like this video. You share this channel as well. Continue to spread about the word of the LC Transfer Room. We give videos every single day. We go live once a day, sometimes twice in 1 hour, as it was after the game Sunday. I was on one that had to end early so the other one could start. So it's we do a lot of stuff here. So make sure you like, you share, you support the channel. Getting into it, we are just going to go right into talking about the Carabao Cup final, give the American thoughts on it. Drew, overall, how blown away are you that the kids got it done?
I couldn't believe it. I was surprised, not really surprised, but I thought Chelsea would offer a tougher first start to the game. Felt like we dominated the early stages right up until Gravenberch's unfortunate injury from the Caicedo challenge. And then after that, I got a little worried because it was we couldn't bring anyone on who would be considered a first-team player. But the youngsters absolutely just crushed it. You couldn't ask for anything more. And to see them last the last 20 minutes against Chelsea in normal time and then proceed to be the better side in extra time, I think there were some individual performances in the first half I could have been critical on, but just the overall story of the game and what was achieved. And the final, you kind of just have to get it over the line any way possible. And everyone just did more than that. They created a story that will be in Liverpool supporters' memories and jealousy for all the other team supporters, for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I said Sunday when I was on the post game about just how they came in with that just Klopp no fear mentality. They got right into the game and just to have that belief of a manager of that quality. They weren't coming in because we have nobody else. It's no, I believe you can get the job done. I said it's reminiscent of Barcelona. This is impossible, but because it's you, it's not, or it is possible. So that's how I kind of felt about the game. Paul, for you, what was the key part of the game? Was it, was it Kelleher at the back? Was it Virgil? Who's basically your man of the match of the game? Was it, or is it just too tough to call because there was a lot of standouts in there?
My man of the match is actually our goalkeeper, Kelleher. I know Virg was fantastic. He was very commanding. We can see that he was a captain. He was a leader. And of course, he got that goal twice. But having said that, we would not have gone to extra time if we didn't have Kelleher having his best game in a Liverpool shirt. So, yes, Vert scored a goal, but the way Kelleher was looking, I wouldn't be surprised if he would have saved 2 or 3 of those penalties if we had gone to penalties. So, I actually just before the goal, I was actually looking at the team and trying to figure out, okay, which 5 is going to step up, right? Because most of these players, I saw Lucho took penalties for his national team, and if my memory serves me right, he wasn't good. He missed. So I said, okay, we have Verge. Who else do we have? So I was so happy that we didn't have to go to penalties just because it would have been too much stressful. But the man of the match for me was definitely our goalkeeper.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There was the moment right towards the end of the game when Gallagher got through, and I get like that heart-sinking moment, like, oh, he's through. But as soon as Kelly comes into the picture, like my heart raised right back up because I'm like, he's perfectly positioned. Like, I just got complete. I'm like, he's saving that. It's no problem. And of course he does. Which Gallagher's not the greatest finisher, but you'd still put the money on him to finish that. Yeah, he was immense. Jay Muse calling me the Endo of the channel is probably the nicest compliment I have ever gotten in my entire life. Endo was incredible. The fact that he had any legs whatsoever. I said last week in the group chat that the $35 million we paid for McAllister might be the best business the club's ever done. Endo at what 18 or 20 or whatever we got him for,
16.
And how key he's been, just that's right there with him. He's just been incredible. Yeah, that's the nicest thing ever. Thank you, Jay Muse. Colin, you brought up something in the group chat that I also thought during the game as well. I'm going to ask a broader question here. Which Chelsea player should be most disappointing in their game from Sunday? Because I think I know who you should say, and I'm going to say exactly who I think it is.
I think that there are several of them who should just like bury their heads in the sand and not come out. My joking man of the match was going to be Conor Gallagher's inability to finish. I mean, what more could you ask for? I was lucky enough to watch it with my brother. He sat all the way on the other side of the room from me because I wasn't feeling well. But that was nice to be able to watch it with him. But he is a Chelsea fan, and every time Gallagher was in, he was in constantly, and it was really, yeah. I mean, you couldn't ask for better opportunities to come to a player to finish off the game.
Yeah.
But when Mudryk was coming on, or we were like, okay, I think it's Mudryk time, and my brother Garrett was desperately like trying to get the goal before he came on. He was like, he cannot kick a ball. He can run and find one, but he can't kick it. Yeah, I mean that they played scared. They played like they didn't really want to be there, and that they didn't really have the confidence that our 17, 18, 20-year-olds did. It's truly an embarrassment on their end. Like if I was a fan of them, I would be shocked and angered.
Yeah, the player I was going to say was Ben Chilwell, and it's because he got punked like twice by 20-year-old and an 18 or 18, 19, whatever Bobby Clark is now, to the point where it looks like it does really look like he spits at Bobby Clark in that moment. I did send that, and he is not a bad player, and he didn't play that bad of a game, but literally got did get form NFL tackled by Connor Bradley, and I don't know if they had this on any of the like international broadcasts, but like on the American broadcast, there's an angle where like Bobby Clark falls down sort of out of bounds, and the camera angle is like Bobby Clark on the line, and directly up from him is Chilwell, and Chilwell is talking at him and spits at him, and it certainly wasn't close enough to hit him. He was like probably 10 yards away, but like definitely looks to intentionally spit at him, and it just that just set me off. Like, can you imagine being clowned by
by kids who are that much younger than you and are playing that much better than you, and to just be like, I'm gonna spit at them.
Yeah.
Like
then having to
in
come
a-
off with 3 minutes left in the game because you're too tired to do it. Like,
It almost seemed like he wanted to intimidate the kids
Yes.
and like get under their skin, and it just totally backfired. Like none of the kids were scared of him, which I think that's what he was going for. He's like, oh, I'm like a hard challenge in the first minute of the game to let them know you're there, kind of thing. Like his like version of that was like, oh, I'm gonna get in this kid's face and like intimidate him, but he's like, the kids are just as tall as him, if not taller, and they're just kind of like, what are you doing? Which shows, constant narrative afterwards was like the maturity of these young players in that kind of situation, to be confronted by the Chelsea captain, guy who's been around for a while, who has obvious skill. He's a talented player, like, let's not get that wrong, but he showed just absolute, just pathetic levels of personality and leadership in those moments, by thinking the right way to get under a kid's skin was to, challenge him. Like, I don't know. It was embarrassing from him.
Yeah. I think he was the captain as well today, wasn't he? Yeah.
I think when he plays, he's pretty much been the.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of again, I guess what
outside.
Thiago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him and then Thiago, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I could not imagine our cap, like how I would feel if our captain was, trying to Drew's point, trying to intimidate, teenagers of the other, and for it to be so obvious and to be like, exactly, what are you doing? Why? Yeah. It's an embarrassing showing from them, and I couldn't be happier to beat them.
Yeah.
To try to embarrass them through like fighting with them, for me that was like in particularly what was just kind of embarrassing, because it's like you should intimidate them by bodying them, by playing better than them, and making it so they are so overwhelmed by how good an opposition or how mature their performance is. But picking fights is like so childish that I bet the kids were just kind of like surprised in the show. They're just like, what are you doing? Versus like being intimidated by size and maturity and experience, which is what Chelsea should have had. Like, I know they had the younger squad in quotes, but all those players were first team players in some league before coming to Chelsea, played a lot of games for Chelsea, and had way more experience. I have no idea why they didn't put the pressure on the youngsters in extra time.
My favorite,
go ahead, Paul.
My favorite little moment just at the end of the game, with Caicedo sitting on the ground, and Lavia was right beside him, with his hands around his neck and consoling him. And I was just thinking, wonder what these two guys are actually thinking right now. So that, to me, that was a moment that I will never forget. I just wondered, I wish I could just text them if I had their number and say, hey, do you guys regret your decision now? Be honest. I don't know what they're thinking, but that was a moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. The biggest thing for the game was definitely once we hit extra time was that Chelsea completely decided to play for penalties, which just made zero sense to me. Like they're playing basically in pretty much an under 21 side, like at a certain point, if you want to rate it as that, and then they just don't go for it. And I said something on the stream the other day. It's like one thing, obviously they spent the $1 billion on the team or whatever, and goes to the kids, banter, whatever. But ultimately that $1 billion didn't buy any desire from anybody, because the easiest indication that is Mudryk on the near post getting completely just bullied by Van Dijk. Like, just no intent to go after the ball, like just hoping it hits his head and it goes away, and Van Dijk goes and gets it. Like, that's the one thing Chelsea can't really buy, or they have to instill in their players. Because I also said, and I want to know what you guys think, I said this was the second most impressive thing Klopp's ever done, was winning this Carabao Cup after winning the Premier League. Like, obviously winning the Champions League is more important, but I think doing it with the team he had like selected and instilling that belief, and then obviously the LA that the fans got into about the 100th minute or whatever it was, I mean, that probably just gave those kids an unbelievable just kind of kick in the ass or something like that. It's like, yeah, not only do our players believe in us, our coach believe in us, but the fans believe in us. That's just as important as everything, is the fans believing, yeah, you guys can do this. What do you guys think? Where does this sit in terms of the impressive feats that Jurgen Klopp has pulled off at Liverpool? I'll start with Colin.
It's so far up there. It's almost disrespectful to say, I think. But here is why. That win has been being worked on, and the seeds of that win were planted 10 years ago, or 8 years ago. In a recommitment to the development of the club, to the development of talent coming into the club, the scouting departments, the kind of attitude around, playing children, playing the kids, and making sure that their instructions are very clear, and being all of that kind of building on each other. It's taken 7-8 years. I don't know that there's any other team, certainly not in the league, that could, or any of England's top 4 leagues, that could play their or the amount of academy products that we have, and be able to get results like that. It's hard to. I do feel like I am overstating it, but like I don't think that any of that is possible without the commitment to the larger project of the club over the past 7, 8, 9 years. So without that, we don't win. So it's like top 2 in wins, in finals wins, because of the amount of time that has been needed to cultivate that.
Yeah, I can see that. What about you, Drew? Where are you thinking? Do you think you can put it up there, or who was the most impressive youngster as well for you on the weekend?
James McConnell says his name. I'd say him. Just his composure. I think when he came, my favorite was when he split the 2 attacking forwards, pressing in on him, ran it through the midfield, and then almost put in whoever was on the right wing at that point. But throughout that whole midfield battle in extra time, I think he was the standout for me. So for that reason, I would put him as the most impressive youngster. And this game, I view it as games, rather than moments. Easily top 5. I'm thinking off the top, and this is without you throw in the question, top of my head. Barcelona has to be number 1, within tandem with the Spurs final, just because for me those 2 are linked to get it done. The Barca game wouldn't have mattered if we didn't win the Champions League after that. And then other than that, the one that really comes up to mind to challenge it is Alisson's header, just for the occasion, what that meant. In the end, it didn't matter. We got 3rd place, but at that moment, that was struggling for 4th to get that in. So for me, that was huge. And then the other one might have been contending for Premier League in that run of games to win the league. I think for me, the biggest one was the City game where we won, 3-1? When Fabinho had that absolute blast to beat Man City. And it was just we were already so far ahead at that point to beat City. I thought for me, that was the first time where I was we're winning this league. But it's easily in that top 5. And one of the greatest things Jurgen has achieved at the club, just because of so far what you and Colin have said, just the amount, what was built into this game, all the years, the philosophy of Klopp, the philosophy of the club, bringing the youngsters through, even the AXA training center, making sure the youngsters are part of that development, get to see the first team players. There's so much development that resulted in this game, and Klopp's faith in the youngsters like all of that has been almost like the perfect capstone for Klopp. And hopefully this isn't the only trophy he wins. But regardless, this is just a perfect embodiment of what Klopp has brought to this club and what this club is all about.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. That Barcelona thing, like, yeah, you do have to add it in with the Spurs, but yeah, Barcelona was that because it was kind of everything Klopp had preached in terms of intensity and, believing in belief and turning doubters from believers. That I didn't believe we would do it, but I'm like, we definitely have a chance when there really shouldn't have been a chance. So that would definitely be like the number one moment of games. But I still think impressive feat overall would still be winning the league the way we won the league too, than having to obviously the COVID stuff around it. Now, coming to you, Paul, your thoughts on where this sits in terms of Klopp's achievements. And then on top of that, how do you think Sunday's performance will do in terms of enticing top managerial talent in the summer? Like, what manager in the world that's linked with Liverpool would not want to look at that youth academy system and say, wow, I mean, I'm set up. I don't have to go out there and spend like City or anybody like that. I have a built-in pipeline for this team for the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, I agree with what the guys are saying here, but one of the things that stood out to me more than anything else is that it's very evident that Klopp is more than just the manager for the first team. He is the manager for all the players. He knows what is going on with the under 21s, the under 18s, and his philosophy is right throughout the entire Liverpool. So that's why it was a little bit easier for these under 21, under 18s to can come into the first team and know how to play. So unlike some of the other top managers in the league, he is not just about the first team. He's about the entire players from all the different categories. So that was very impressive. And that will make it even more difficult for us to find a proper replacement. But there is no manager who have an opportunity to come to Liverpool and see this kind of performance that would not jump at the first phone call and say yes, because the talent that is there is clear for everybody to see. And when players get injured, of course, as fans, we all we get down. I was devastated when I realized that we're going to start the game with our front three not available. No Salah, no Jota, no Darwin. But now that in retrospect, we can see that everything worked out well, because there is nothing like having these young players taste victory, taste success, because that can only augur well for their development. Having been thrown into the mix when most people expect them to fail, having a manager that believes in them and then actually go out there and prove to themselves that they are good enough, that should really be a real jumpstart to their career. So that could only augur well for the future. And one other thing that is evident too is that the competition for place is going to be fierce, but it seems like it's friendly, because you can see that all the players enjoy each other's success. Even those that are on the bench, those that are injured, everybody enjoy the success of the team. So, that is really, really a positive. And finally, I really loved Jota and Henderson when he was our captain. And I was kind of devastated when he left. But the more I think about it, is the more I have to say that even that too was a blessing in disguise, And I was just wondering, how does it feel as a former captain Henderson to be marooned at Ajax, can't win a game, and to see the team that he left lifting a trophy? It must be a terrible feeling for him. But, that just means that when people move on, we just have to just believe in what we have, because we are Liverpool and we will always continue to win. But it's going to be really, really tough to replace Klopp. It's going to be hard.
Did Henderson put any post on social media? I'm like doing a quick check. He didn't post anything on Twitter or
No.
X about Liverpool winning. That's embarrassing.
His team lost again Sunday, and he was on the bench. He didn't even play. He got dropped, and he's a captain. They haven't won a game since he's been there.
Yeah, they I've seen a lot of Ajax discourse, and they're like, yeah, the man, he can't like pass the ball, and we're like,
Yeah.
we know, thanks, yeah, we're aware.
I just can't believe he didn't make a single post about Liverpool winning.
It's embarrassing. Honestly, it's further compounding his like obviously very like open, but somehow he's trying to hide it feelings about what went on in the past 6-8 months.
But Joe, think about it. How would you feel if you are part of a team, be it a football team or a sports team, or you're at work or working with a company or whatever team you're on, and the moment you leave, you think you're very important. You're the leader, you're the captain, and the moment you leave, the team gets better. It's tough. Not only gets better, but win the trophy.
I'd like to think I wouldn't be in that situation of like just leaving in that kind of manner, but like at what point is he gonna just be like understand what he's like the repercussions of his actions? Like he can easily just apologize and then wish well. There's nothing like it'd be so simple to put a post being like congratulations to the Liverpool squad and the young, especially proud of the youngsters, etc. Like all of that. Like it's not like put your ego aside. I just don't know what's going on with him.
That would take some self-awareness, which I don't know that he has much of, if any.
Yeah, my thoughts with Endo just is just that with the awareness that Colin just said. Like, I don't get why he didn't understand why the move, maybe him being starting less games, was on the table. It's like age and the style we play. Like you eventually going to have to get phased out of the squad, and Millie's gone. You should take the Millie role, and doesn't like it. Well, I'm glad he forced our hand, because I guess that's the one downfall of Klopp has been, how loyal he is to the players, holding on to some players maybe a little bit too long, whereas Endo forced our hand and made us a much better squad. Endo will always be like a legend to me, because like he was part of the first summer that I was really a Liverpool fan, or I guess the second summer. My first summer was Paul Konchesky, so we don't count that at all. So, so he'll always have like a special place there. So, but one thing that Paul mentioned that I wanted to touch on is the Darwin Nunez celebration after the game, about how he basically just tried to run everybody over, even his own teams, to get onto the field to celebrate with everybody. Watching, Curtis try to get down the stairs as Darwin is basically shoving him down the stairs was a sight to behold. He's the most wild man I have ever seen. He's as wild as Suarez is, but without the negative sides of Suarez. But you guys have anything else to say about the game? Anything else you want to talk about the game before we move on to somehow a game tomorrow?
Did anybody get to watch the 30-minute inside Wembley? I after I was done with my schoolwork last night, I was like, I should watch that, and then I was like a half an hour. I was like, I don't have the bandwidth for this anymore, so I hit the hay. So I'm going to be doing that after. I'm sure it will be great. I just was like, I can't sit through 30 minutes of this and pay attention the whole time. So
if you don't have 30 minutes, just fast forward to the Van Dijk goal, which is about the 20th minute or so, and watch it from that point.
Okay.
That is, and then just do that.
Okay. Good rec, Paul. Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it. That's all I got. I mean, literally, how do we...
Quick question, I guess, from Jay Muse here. We'll go ahead and, since we're talking about Jordan Hendo here, do you think he has anything to do with the Ajax trying to get Lenders as manager? Looks like manager for next season. Those are the rumors that were coming out.
No, I don't think so. Henderson is on the bench. He was dropped for the weekend game. I don't think I don't think so. I think Pep is just going back to, I think Pep is Dutch, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I just think they just see that he must have learned quite a bit from Klopp. So I don't think so.
Yeah, because Ajax is in quite a kind of rebuilding phase within their kind of structure. So I can see why anybody attached to Klopp would be touted, especially Pep, for a kind
Let
of
me grab my charger.
not a problem, Paul. As Paul goes and gets a charger, we'll move on into the game tomorrow. Somehow we have to rally the troops and play another maybe 120 minutes against Southampton tomorrow.
My charger?
Are we starting a completely different side? Is it just nothing but kids? Do we risk any players who might be coming back from injury for this game? Drew, what are you thinking? How do we come back and start any team whatsoever?
I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think for a starting 11. I think it's just the bench situation. Like, I think anyone who played the full game, like Endo, Diaz, Virgil, they cannot start. They should not even be on the bench, in my opinion. But I do think the likes of Gakpo, trying to think who else got pulled off in that first half.
Bradley.
Connor Bradley, etc. Those ones who were subbed out or the youngsters who came on at the end. McAllister came off. Like anyone who came off in the 90 or like early for the extra time can probably do a shift. And then the youngsters who are on the bench who didn't play will probably start as well. So I think we'll actually have a pretty solid starting 11 considering what it could be. I just think the bench is going to be, even like the under 12s or something like that. I don't see how you can put a bench together. I think we'll be okay with the starting 11. I just hope we get the result in 90 minutes because if it goes to extra time, I almost want Klopp to put down the white flag and be like, no, like this, we're not playing extra time. And we'll see. I can't believe that the turnaround is this much with the possibility of extra time on the cards. I think that's the real insult to injury there.
Yeah. Once you guys were talking about it, like I forgot that extra time was possible for this game, and just the pit in my stomach just grew. Like it, because I think I said it last week or maybe the week before, like, Liverpool, we don't do anything easy whatsoever. So we're going to extra time tomorrow. It's just guaranteed. It's guaranteed no matter what, because we just have to do everything as difficult as possible. Colin, what do you think starting lineups are going to be? I mean, does Kelly just get to run the team now? How far away from the pitch do you keep like an Endo? Do you like not even let him in the city of Liverpool tomorrow, so there's no way he has a chance of even being on the pitch? Or what do you do with some of these guys?
I think both, or I think any of the guys who did the full 120,
they're gone.
There's not a chance. None of those guys are absolutely not. I don't think even going to be in the squad. Yeah, I mean, I otherwise, like the guys who did get subbed off, there's not a ton of we don't have a ton of bodies at the moment, so like I could see, I think Tsimikas, like he was not on very long. Like my guess is that he's starting, even though obviously like you've got Andy Robertson who probably would be fine to start as well. I think some of the kids who were subbed on kind of late in the game, the McConnells, the Dans, those guys are going to start. And I think, I don't know if it's just me or if I'm hoping that this is what Jurgen says to them, which is like basically just go for broke. Like we're just going to play for the win in rate. And if we get caught out by a Southampton team that are playing quite well in the championship, like so be it. But like we're just going to go for it, and whatever happens, like the extra time is the worst thing that could happen. Like we're not doing an extra amount of time, so go for broke, try to win the game, keep it moving.
All right, moving to you, Paul. Who's the player you're most excited to see tomorrow? If we are like kind of doing a heavily rotated, heavily youth side, is there a certain player maybe we haven't seen yet, or just maybe somebody from the weekend we get to see more of? Who are you most excited to see tomorrow?
I've been thinking about it, and I'm kind of excited to see. I just wondering if Klopp will play three young guys, all three in the midfield. Because as Klopp normally say, this is going to be a tricky game. Because let's face it, there is no quadruple if we lose tomorrow. But at the same time, if we sacrifice the players and they will lose on Sunday in the Premier League, that could be devastating to our chance of winning the league, which is more important. So it has to be a delicate mix. But I agree that some of the guys that played for 120 would have to get the time off. And I would also start Adrian in goal. Because with Alisson out for a while, we don't know when he'll be back. I think we now have to look to protecting Queeve. And we are going to need Queeve Sunday and then Man City game coming up. So if Adrian can't go in the goal and give us a game against a championship side, then what is the point in having him? So I would start Adrian in the goal, and my back four would be Tsimikas, Joe Gomez, Kwanzaa, and probably Connor Bradley. In the midfield, I just throw the kids. I don't care. McConnell, Dan, and Bobby Clark. Because yes, they are young, but with the confidence of Sunday, and I still believe they are more talented than the best players in Southampton, right? And plus, also remember that Southampton also have a game on Saturday, and they are also fighting for promotion. So they too will be looking at that game on Saturday. We probably don't want to exert their first 11 too much at Anfield. So, we just have to just play the kids. Up front, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because if Salah and Darwin couldn't play in the final on Sunday, I don't see the point in risking them tomorrow. Lucho played 120, so it's kind of hard to ask him to come back out. So, and obviously Jota is not available. So who does that left us with for the front three, for the front line? So that is where it gets tricky. Harvey, yes, but Harvey also played 120. So I don't know what we're going to do up front, because none of the guys really are available, based on that logic.
What about Gakpo, Dan's up top, and then maybe Cade Gordon?
Yeah, maybe we have to go that way. Maybe Gakpo is the only one of the original front five who can play tomorrow. So Gakpo, yes, and two kids. So and then three kids in the middle, and we just go for it.
Yeah.
If we lose, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
But the game on Sunday has to take priority.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. A couple people like calling. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I just want to know if you guys would start Kelleher in goal, or you would switch to Adrian for this game.
I was actually thinking Peter Luca, personally. Like, give him a shot at the first team.
He's out on loan.
Is he? When did that happen?
Yeah, he's in.
He's
in Ireland. Yeah.
I'm a big old dum dum. My bad. We'll call him back. Make me look like a smart guy.
Yeah, I think he's on loan in Ireland. I think Steven was going to try to go see if he could catch him for a game. I mean, you make a good point, Paul. It's like if you don't trust him to play, an FA Cup game, when someone's got an injury against a lower league team, like why do you have him? There also was there not some question about his eligibility for? I think that was at the beginning of the year though, but was that just Premier League?
He wasn't in the Europa League squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you make a good point. It's like, you don't want to. I don't think you want to take Kelleher from, barely playing at all to playing so much in the span of like 6 weeks. I don't think that that's probably good for him either. Although he is playing with a head full of confidence. So, I broadly agree. I think if you can't play Adrian here, why have him? Why keep him around?
Yeah, I can see that now. Now that I've been proven to be a big dum dum here and forgot Pete DeLuga went to St. Patrick's.
Otherwise, I would be very on board. I want to see that kid play.
I think I got tricked. I think I saw like maybe an old training video with him like a week or so ago. Maybe I thought that was like recent. Got a couple shouts. We got, oh boy, not him. If we start Adrian, it's already a lost cause. Got to believe, man. Doubters and the believers. Like even if Adrian plays, like the way these we're going, we'll find a way. If we don't, I don't think we down to an Adrian mistake, but it'd probably just be dead legs and not having the players in front of him right now. And
this
then
would be like, I'm sorry, bro. I was just gonna say, this is gonna be like an Adrian masterclass. I feel like this is the perfect game for him. His level championship.
Yeah, like
just kind of like the Super Cup game against Chelsea, where somehow he. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the first 10 games of that season, Alisson was hurt and he did a job. I mean, he made I think who was it? I think it was Leicester. He made not Leicester. It was Southampton actually. He made a really bad mistake early in that year where he passed it directly to him. I think it was like his second start. Like right after the Super Cup, he brought us that masterclass. Well, now he's got his chance to make it up to him. He's got that big game on his mind. So, and we got Jay Mew saying we got to recall player coach Jay Spearing for tomorrow. I came in when Jay Spearing was starting a lot of games for Liverpool. I don't know if I'm ready to see that ever again. Like if it was a Legends game or something like that, and he was signed on, I'd be okay. I don't know if I want to see him playing meaningful minutes. But if he scored a worldie from 40 yards, I'd probably celebrate like nobody's business. Tomorrow, I'd be most excited to see if Nioni can get a start or get on the pitch. I'd be over the moon to see that kid actually play. I said something about it Sunday. He looks like he's 12 years old. He doesn't even look like he could be close to 16 yet. Like he was up there lifting the trophy. I'm like, is he able to even lift that? I don't think he's got the strength for it yet. I'd be very excited to see that kid. You've been hearing so much about him in the academy. I'm kind of with Paul in the back four. I think that's probably about the only way you can go. Is Costas, Kwanzaa, Joe, and Bradley. I'm going back and forth on Yakpo because just our luck with injuries right now. I don't kind of want him to play, even though he'd be our best chance of winning if he's playing. But he go out there and roll his ankle or something, as we saw with Gravenberch, which we didn't even touch on the officiating for the Carabao Cup final. But I don't know. I'm excited to see Jaden Danns, though. I know I've seen Kumas in the comments here. That'd be pretty great to see. I don't know. Right now, I have a lot of faith in the academy to do something. Like even when that year we had to go do the World Cup, the FIFA, whatever that one World Cup thing is, and it was in Saudi, and we had to leave all the kids to play Aston Villa. They played well, despite the 5-0 scoreline. It was just that's when you see the differences between the youth teams and a professional team is how well they can take chances, and that's what I think Sunday can prove to these kids, because all these kids have been the best at their ages for a long time. Then to go up and play against actual grown men and put on a performance like that, I think right now they're going to be chomping at the bit to get back on the field. So I want to see Jaden Danns play tomorrow. He's going to score 6 goals since Haaland scored 5 today. It's guaranteed. And Costas will have 6 assists to better Kevin De Bruyne. Put your money on it right now. You guys have anything else for tomorrow's game? Is there any other players? I know I asked Paul who's most excited to see. Is there anybody else, Drew or Colin, you're excited to see tomorrow?
Nioni would have been my answer. I wonder if he's like not a full like striker. But he's not quite an 8, so maybe like more of like a 10 or an attacking midfielder. Maybe we go 4-2-3-1 and he plays a 10 just to just to get a healthy body in there. Yes, it is quite early. Okay.
Another thing we could do, because we did it for a few minutes on Sunday, is have Conor Bradley as a right winger. We are, if we can't find 3 players to play up front, there is one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Conor Bradley up front on the right wing, Joe Gomez right back, but then we're going to need a centre back.
Yeah.
So they're good.
Yeah.
So,
That's why I said I think your back line is the only way
yeah.
we can do it. Anybody for you,
Right
Drew?
on.
Is there anybody in particular like, wow, if we see him tomorrow, I'd be,
I really want to see Bobby Clark and James McConnell in the midfield from like a full 90 because I think it could be a very interesting bar for them to see how I think they've done unbelievable whenever they've come in their bits and part roles, but to start a full 90 against a solid championship side who will probably make it into the Premier League next year, I'm really excited to see what they can do from the start of the game when they dictate for a full 90.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bobby
This
Clark.
would have been a perfect game for Bendok, man.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been perfect, but injuries.
Yep. Oh, so before we move on to the last topic here, we're about 45 minutes in. Make sure you do like, share, subscribe, support. Wow, I say that every week on my podcast. Now I can't say it here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, support. We do this every Tuesday night. Star Stripes Anfield Nights are pretty much an American themed show. I see that it's 2:44 in the UK. That's not a real time. Only American time matters because this is an American show. Yeah, make sure we do episodes, or not episodes, I'm sorry. We do streams every single day, 2:30 American time. What is that in England time? Is that 8? 7:30?
Yeah, 7:30 from where you're at, 7:30 UK time.
Yeah. Yeah, 7:30 UK time. Do post-game streams. We do pre-game streams. We do a lot of stuff with this channel. So make sure you're supporting the channel as we continue to drive in viewers. The last thing we're going to talk about today is the news that came out earlier this week that Liverpool is coming back to America this coming summer for some preseason games, what I think in Philly and in South Carolina, playing Arsenal and United, if I've got that right. So, yeah, start with, let's see. Well, I guess I'll start with Paul. Paul, you want to try to make it down?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be able to make it because in the summertime that's when I'm busiest, and I have not been fortunate enough as yet to watch Liverpool play live, and I want my first time seeing Liverpool live to be at Anfield. I want to be in the crowd. I want to be singing. you know, I want to be shouting, "You never walk alone." So, unfortunately, guys, I don't think I can make it to the States this summer to watch them. But I don't know if it will be on TV, but who cares? It's preseason, the main guys might not even play anyway. So, and then Klopp won't be there. So, preseason doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Aston Villa's coming to Columbus in late June or late July to play at lower.com field here, and I'll automatically get tickets, which is nice, and that's like $45 a ticket, which isn't bad at all for America. So I'm excited. I'm kind of excited about that, but at the same time, I get to watch Douglas Luiz for 25 minutes then as he kind of jogs around everywhere. So
if he plays.
Yeah, if he even plays. So that's what my buddy asked me about. I'm like, yeah, it's just they're trying to get up to speed. We're going to be kind of mid-season, so it's going to be odd because we're not wanting to get hurt, and they're obviously just trying to get in the rhythm. So I'm kind of with you. Like preseason games don't get me too excited, but having a chance to see the boys would be great. Drew, for you, I've been hearing rumors that you're going to do a Tom Waits and hitchhike your way across the country to get to these games. Is that true?
I think I'll be able to make the South Carolina one work. My mom retired down in South Carolina, so great excuse to go and visit. I've been meaning to visit her, so that'll be a nice, nice excuse for me to get out there regardless. And I've seen Liverpool play 2 times in America. Early on when the FSG partnership came out, I was back in New England, so I was able to see them at Fenway, in Boston twice. Saw a couple good games there, and I've been over to England a couple times. Been great to see Liverpool play 3 times, Arsenal, Chelsea, and last year I saw them against West Ham and was able to see a lot of the UK transfer room guys, so that was nice. But I always love to catch a game over here when I can.
Mhm.
It's a fun experience, and I do think the worldwide LFC fans show up. My favorite summer game was when Liverpool played United at Michigan Stadium.
Mhm.
It was like 100,000 supporters. You could hear the chants. It was amazing, and we smashed United 4-0 with Shaqiri bicycle kick. So I'm excited to see the team, whoever's there. We all know now that there will be some great youngsters. We might not see the full 11 or what would be a starting 11, but I think it'll be two entertaining games and a chance to see the new manager. Hopefully it's Xabi Alonso. So saw him way back when, I think 2009 when I got to see him play. So it'll be interesting to see him manage.
Yeah. With those Boston games, that was Roma, and was the other one Sevilla?
I'm blanking on the first one. I think it might have been Roma twice. Actually.
Maybe it was Roma twice, because I think there's something in Boston that also owns, or maybe used to own Roma or something like that.
They did. They had an ownership. There was an ownership stake, American ownership stake in Roma for a while.
I was wondering if you got the Sevilla game where the that one guy tried to basically take in Larucci, is that his name? Kid's at Sheffield United's now. Whenever he basically just kicked him out middle of the game, like just tried to take his knee out right in the middle of the game. That guy actually got kicked off of, I think, Sevilla for being overweight, and he wouldn't lose the weight. So they was like, okay, your contract's terminated. So I'm not crying for him. So, Colin, it's easier for you to make the Philadelphia game than maybe, well, not super hard for me. Are you planning on going, or are you wanting to go to South Carolina? Or are you going to both?
So the Philadelphia game is definitely on. You can catch me there. You can catch several other of our LFC transfer room friends and personalities there. I can guarantee that. It is weird. It's like a Wednesday, but like, you know, how often did Liverpool come that close? Like very, very infrequently. I was at the game in Michigan, which was like, that's like a, you know, top 5 day of my life. Like it was like way up there. I got to go with my dad, and it was like fun. It was phenomenal. It was hot. It was hot then, and that was Michigan, which leads me into my next point. And I think Waka 33 LFC, you know, they'll know because they're in Georgia. Do you think that the organizers of this game have any idea what they're doing, playing a game in Columbia, South Carolina on August the 3rd in the like middle of a day? Like, what do they understand? It's going to be 96 degrees and 98% humidity. Like the palmetto bugs down there are as big as my hand. God, like they're this big. Those, you know, poor Europeans have no idea what they're in for. You know, the Southeast at that time of year is, the weather is oppressive. Humid is right. It is not a fun time. And actually my fiance and I are, in the next couple of years, we would like to move to South Carolina. So we might just make a trip out of it and go down on the weekend too. So, I don't know. Well, we'll see. You know, Liverpool don't come to the States every year, and I don't get the opportunity to go do so much. So, yeah, try to see him if you can.
Yeah, that's what
Brandon, you coming out?
I'm going to try to make it. Thing is, I've already planned like most of my vacation days this year, so I've got to figure that out. Which usually I'm off on Wednesdays, but it's making the trip there. But I work Thursdays. It just might be switching days and just saying, "Hey, I'm taking an extra day off. Write me up. I don't care."
Yeah.
I've never got to see Liverpool live, so I really want to. It's just my biggest disappointment with the Klopp stuff is I'm never going to get to see a Jurgen Klopp team. Like I was sad last year that I never got to see a Bobby Firmino Liverpool team. So not to see a Jurgen Klopp one will be sad, but it's also going to be exciting to see a new manager. I had tickets to watch him, I think, play Dortmund at Notre Dame. I couldn't get anybody to cover my shift at work. And I couldn't get rid of the tickets either. So I ended up having to eat like $300 or something like that. Yeah. Let's say I was not happy at work.
Well, if rumor is correct, Klopp might be leading the German national team in 2026 at the World Cup.
Yeah.
And the World Cup will be in Mexico, US, and Canada. So if when US gets knocked out of the competition, which might be early, maybe you can cheer for, for Germany and go see Klopp. Wear your Liverpool shirt and go see Klopp.
I think there was an episode me and Colin were on here together. I think we talked a little bit about international football. I don't care at all about the U.S. national team, like at all. Yeah, like at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Christian Pulisic's played for Chelsea. Like, why am I ever going to root for him? He mark over, everybody else. Yeah, I don't care about the U.S. team.
That's very Liverpool of you.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm such a Liverpool fan. Is they have a lot of the same feelings about like the state as I kind of think about the state.
So, I care deeply about the men's national team to my own detriment.
I like players from it, and I want them to do well. But it's like ultimately, it's like if it's one of those where it's like if they win, they win. They lose, they lose. But
it's like my Pittsburgh Pirates fandom. It's like I am a fan, and I hate myself because of it, but I just can't stop.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was talking to a buddy the other day. The Pirates are the worst run organization probably in all of American sports. Like they are way up there.
they're the worst run one that hasn't been moved out of the city yet. So. Yeah. Maybe joyous times are ahead for me. Who's to say?
Yeah, but
I follow international football. As a matter of fact, my captain, Canadian captain, and Alphonso Davies, is leaving Bayern for Madrid, and there is rumor today that Bayern will be targeting our own left back, Robbo. I don't know if you guys saw that rumor. It's been rumored even on BBC Sports site and in their gossip page today. So that would be something because Robbo is almost 30. So there's a rumor 45 million price range. Would you guys take that for Robbo?
I mean, at his age and the price, you definitely have to think about it. But my thing is, I don't think Robbo would leave. I think he has ingrained himself to Liverpool so much that he has no interest of going anywhere unless the club asks him to go. I think that's the only way he leaves is the club says we're not going to be like a Hendo situation. He just wouldn't be crying about it as much. I think that's the only way Robbo leaves is if the club asks him to leave. Because I think I think if his pay wages are correct, he's on like still some of the lowest wages at the club.
I think it's like on 150 somewhere there.
Yeah, like. Considering how important he's been, like that's excellent money when you consider what the other teams around us pay their players weekly. So yeah, I don't know if it's something to think about, but I just don't think Robbo has any interest in going. Anybody else want to answer that one?
I think he could. Like it depends. Like I'm curious to see what players want to stick around.
No, he's on 100 a week.
100.
Yeah, he's on the lower scale, but I'm curious, like if he'd be one of the players that feels his chapter at Liverpool is done and would like a new challenge, because I think that will be the interesting one to see. Like I know Van Dijk didn't commit when he was asked earlier in the year, and then clarified, being like he's fully committed to Liverpool, etc. But I think it would be an interesting decision for some of the senior players who have been throughout the whole ride with Klopp. This is kind of the jumping off point for potentially, how many chances are you going to get to move to a top club like Bayern? Are you like, maybe that's something you want to explore. I don't think Robertson has to prove anything or do anything else at Liverpool other than maybe he wants to be a part of the legacy of transitioning and helping that maintain that momentum. But I think there's going to be a few players who might leave at the summer combined with a new manager coming in, maybe having ideas of his own. So I wouldn't put it out of the realms of possibility, especially if Bayern offers something like 30 million plus for Robertson.
I guess the larger question should be, in the off season, what is our greatest area of need? Our needs. A couple of months ago, the answer to that question would be midfield reinforcement. But now with the emergence of these kids who, seems to be super talented and actually needs opportunities, there's about 3 or 4 of them, we can think about. Do we need midfield reinforcement in the off season? Do we need? Well, Robbo is 30. Tsimikas is what, 28? 29. Maybe we need a younger left back. So if assuming Salah stays, our front five is still very potent. So what would be our area of need in the off season, assuming all of these guys stay? That's the question.
We've been saying it for months. Left-sided center back.
Yeah, if you lose a left back, I feel like that
has to be
you absolutely got to get in a left-footed center back.
Yeah,
who can cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why Nkape is so high on the list because he can do.
What's Sepp van de Beek? What does he play?
Left-footed center back.
Yeah. I'd be curious.
He's been good. He's been good for Mainz. I've watched them a bit. They're on ESPN Plus here in the States, and
Mainz has not been good either. But
they've been quite bad, and he's looked pretty. His stats are good for a team that is bad. So,
what are we talking about?
Sepp van der Berg.
Ginger hair kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's in the last year of his contract, though. So I mean, I think it would really require him to get a good look in this specific off season. But that could be especially if Alonso's going to want to play three at the back, which I'm not convinced that he's dead set on that. But if he is, you can definitely save some money budget wise by doing that.
He's right-footed.
He's ambidextrous at worst.
Oh, transfer market have him as right.
I think he's. I mean, he plays left-sided. He plays left-side center back, and I think he's played left back when he was at Preston North End.
Okay.
I guess maybe I don't know for certain that he is left-footed, but that is his position for Mainz has been left center back.
Yeah. All right. Drew does have to get the cooking, so we do have to get close to wrapping up here. We're going to have a couple questions, and then we'll let Drew get to it. What are you cooking up tonight, Drew? That's probably the number one question everybody's going to be asking.
Oh, it's terrible. I always cook pasta on Tuesdays because I have a soccer game on Thursday. It's either Thursday or Tuesday, but both are pasta, so I have leftovers for Thursday.
All right. First one was actually the last question here from Jay Muse. Did you guys catch John Champion of the Carabao Cup broadcast say Virgil van Dijk would likely leave with Klopp? Do you think there's any truth to that, or you think that's just, somebody trying to get some clicks there? I personally think Van Dijk, I can see the reasoning behind it, but I don't see Van Dijk wanting to leave anytime soon. I think he's just inherited the team, and it's kind of became his team in a way, especially with his performances the past couple weeks.
Why? He's going nowhere, and this is why. Where could he go, though? That's the first question. Because if he's the captain of Liverpool, he's on good money. I'm sure if he asks for a raise, they would give it to him. He's not going to Real Madrid. He's not going to Man City or Arsenal. He's not going to Bayern Munich. So which other top European team would entice him to leave? Klopp leaves, yes, but Liverpool continues. I don't see how it would make sense for him on a personal level to leave Liverpool. So I don't take that rumor very seriously.
Why would you say he wouldn't go to Real Madrid, Paul?
Because I don't think Real Madrid would reach out for a 31-year-old, turning 32-year-old centre-back. They have an extremely young team. So I don't think they would give him a 3-4 year contract to entice him to leave at this stage of his career. So I don't think they would.
I'm trying to when did they sign Alaba though? Didn't they sign him pretty old?
2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm just they kind of like their almost like they're infinity stones, you know, like Mbappe, like Bellingham, like it's almost like recreating the Galacticos. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had the money, if they were just like, let's get Van Dijk. Because it seems like they stuck around with Sergio Ramos for a long time. So they don't mind those older center backs. But I know what you mean, like putting that money out.
Yeah. There is one thing to have an older player that has been with the team for a while and you give him an extension. It's another thing to sign an older player from another club on big money. Man United did it with Casemiro from Madrid. Sign him at what, 30, 31, give him a 5-year contract at big money. And after 6 months, they regret it. I think Real Madrid is smarter than that.
Any thoughts, Colin?
This summer is so interesting to me. I don't know if I am definitely sold on a ton of people leaving or nobody leaving. The reality probably somewhere in between. But I if everyone's going to jump ship, or if there's going to be some people who jump ship, I could see some more going along with it.
All right. And then our last question of the night before we wrap up, Gary Richards early in the show asked, do Liverpool win the league? On the spot, we have to answer. There's no, we have to see, there's so much to go. We just got to focus one game at a time. You've got to give me a definitive answer. Drew, hit me up.
Well, you always got to take one game at a time, Brandon. But yeah, we win the league.
I agree. What about you, Paul?
I am leaning yes, but I would be 85% yes if we beat Man City in 2 weeks' time. Because that will be a 6-point game.
Mm-hmm.
If we enter that game still leading, we probably would take a draw. But if we can beat them at Anfield, that would go a long, long way to win in the league. Because I just think that Arsenal will drop off. I don't think they will continue this hot streak. I think they are due for a couple of bad results here or there. So at the moment, I am saying yes, we will win the league.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Colin, hit me with it. Be negative on this one for me, buddy.
Normally that's me, It just feels a little magical at the moment, and it's probably our cup winning high still rubbing off. But I think we do it. I think it's gonna be some last day. We're all gonna be absolutely sweating, and really waiting for a couple of results to pop in, and I think it's gonna happen.
Who's Man City last game? You guys remember? I know we are playing Wolves.
That's not that easy of a game.
Not sure.
They're playing West Ham. They're playing West Ham again.
Jared Bowen.
Do
it for me.
And I'm going to round off easily. Yes, this is going to be a yes because we're already going to beat Man City. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a bloodbath. Holland's going to retire after the game because he's going to be so embarrassed. That's the number one guarantee from Brandon on everything that he's usually wrong about. But once again, this has been Star Stripes Anfield Nights, the American version of LFC Transfer Room, every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock for Drew out there. He does have to get going. So we're going to wrap up the show. Once again, if you guys have anything else or I guess make sure you like, share, subscribe, support. Wow. And then we'll see you next week. Make sure you do everything for the channel. And for Colin, Paul, and gee whiz, I'm losing my mind here.
Drew's gone already.
Yeah, I don't know why Drew's name left me. I was going too fast. But for all of them, I say good night. Keep red, never walk alone. Ooh, wrong button.